Alright everybody, welcome back to CM42 TV. Thanks for tuning in today, and what a day it is. My goodness, May 27th, 2022 is the premiere date of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Does sound kind of silly in my accent, which ironically I've got a very similar accent to Ewan McGregor, although you wouldn't think that in this episode or this show. You also wouldn't think that in real life, because he's one of those Scottish actors that's kind of like developed their sound, developed his voice and has moved to America. And you know, I was in LA the other day and I actually didn't sound anything like him. I can't do a good Ewan McGregor. I can kind of do an alright Obi-Wan Kenobi. But now I feel on the spot, I definitely can't do an Obi-Wan Kenobi in this brand new series here, because my god, the accent is going. And that's really interesting. I know he said that in one of the interviews, like watching all these videos and interviews with him that he's been doing in the build up to this. He's been talking about him, and it's been really funny seeing him and Hayden Christensen kind of like soaking in all the love and the adulation. It's actually really nice to see. It's love for these films that I've always had that are now just kind of coming to the forefront because of, as he says in these interviews, social media, streaming services, things on demand, word of mouth, nostalgia, you know, like hindsight being 2020, and also, you know, the kids who are my age and stuff like that, who I guess Star Wars has always been made for, are now older. It's 15 years later, and you know, I'm, you know, in my mid-20s looking back at, you know, when I was really, really young watching Star Wars and just thinking that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker were really, really cool. So it's been funny seeing the two of them together. And, you know, I've always had such love for the prequels, and I just can't imagine what it would have been like when they came out, you know. In 15 years' time, I'm sure we'll have a lot of people saying, my God, like, Kylo Ren was just... I know Kylo Ren does get a lot of praise, but the sequels, I mean, they were great. You know what I mean? Even though I love the sequels as well, but it's like later on when I guess younger people who are seeing the sequels for the first time now, I mean, like me, like seeing the sequels, I'm going on a massive tangent already. Seeing the sequels in the cinema is forever going to stay with me, you know what I mean? Because I was like a young guy and I was kind of studying film and drama and acting and stuff at the time, so it's always going to hit home to me. Plus I just love Star Wars. But there's going to be kids who were like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old who saw The Force Awakens or whatever, you know, and in 15 years time they're going to look back on that so fondly, like I look back on Revenge of the Sith. But anyway, here we go. I could talk about Star Wars forever. I've got so much to say about not only this episode, I say this episode because I've just watched the first one. I'm going to watch the second episode and then I'll document my thoughts on that. Don't want to go into too much detail, don't want this to be too long of a video. I feel like once the whole series is watched, then we can do a big kind of deep dive. But it's going to be obviously another 4 weeks, I guess. There's going to be an episode a week. And I believe there's 6 episodes in this series, which is, you know, almost not enough, but you never know what we're going to get. I also want to talk about just seeing, like, Hayden Christensen just, like, relax a little bit and just be like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, this is what he wanted as a young guy in 2005 and even 2002. And just, you know, not getting it at the time, you know, seeing Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen together, you know, and it's like Hayden Christensen's, like, awkward. You know what I mean? And almost like a bit nervous when he's doing all this press, like that Star Wars celebration thing. By the way, that was so cool. Like when they're introducing the guests to the panel or whatever, they have like this mad WWE entrance where they come out the stage and there's a theme song and smoke and then a walkway to the stage. And like Hayden and Ewan coming out to this song, like a very prequels-esque sort of Duel of the Fates tune. I know it wasn't Duel of the Fates, but it was one of the songs in the prequels anyway. Maybe it was Duel of the Fates. And then like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have their entrance and they came out to like the Mandalorian song. Like, it's just such a cool thing. Like, what a time. I'd love to be one of those things, but yeah, it's just really nice seeing that. And I'm just absolutely buzzing to see Hayden Christensen. I know we're going to see him in the suit, but we're not going to see him as Anakin with like the cool hair and stuff. It's so cool seeing this series, and I've said it on, you know, the podcast, and I did the reactions to the trailers for this, but like when I was watching, you know, Revenge of the Sith and stuff, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin, they were my 2 favourite characters. And now that I'm older and stuff, I can always look back and say that Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan is like my favourite character in all of Star Wars. And it's always been a thing, like, you know, I'd love to see what happened to Obi-Wan after that. Now we have this ability and accessibility to watch everything, and, you know, the idea of having a TV show about Boba Fett, the TV show about, you know, something called The Bad Batch that never existed before, about a Mandalorian that was created from the Clone Wars and now has like this spin-off TV show that's such a big hit. You know, have all these things now, just, we can have that even in Marvel and stuff. Like, it's the thought of having all this content was just absurd, like even 5 years ago. So The fact that we've got, you know, an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, not just a film, but essentially a 6-hour film, 6 hours worth of new content, it's just unbelievable. And the fact they've got Ewan McGregor back with the beard and the hair and the cloak and somewhat the voice, and you've got Hayden back, and you've got Bail Organa back. Did not expect. We've also got Joel Edgerton as Uncle Owen, so that's always interesting. You've got these new characters that are coming in, and my god, I guess that's the big reveal. We did not expect to see much of Leia whatsoever. Obviously, it's, you know, it's child Leia, but still, like, it's just, and that's another thing. I've got so many thoughts watching this episode 1, not the Phantom Menace, episode 1, entitled Part 1 of the Kenobi series. I was sitting thinking, like, well, there's been all this hype and build up, right? We've always wanted this Kenobi series. What's this going to be? We've finally got it. We're finally watching it. And as it was going on, I was like, we actually don't know what this is going to be about. You know, we know it's about what he's been up to and stuff. It's like 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And by the way, they did this sort of recap package at the start that was about 4.5 minutes long. And I don't know what it was. I mean, I've seen a bunch of, you know, recaps in my life and stuff like that. And, like, I know Star Wars really well. I know the prequels really well. Revenge of the Sith is one of my favourite movies of all time, period. But there was something about that recap that they did at the start of this episode. It was like one of the best recaps of a trilogy I've ever seen. Because obviously, like, the prequels get kind of slammed for, like, all these kind of, like, political stuff, and there's all this stuff that don't need to be in there, like characters that were kind of forced in there and stuff, and, you know, they could be shorter and less confusing other ways, and there's some really slow moments, but I like it all. Yeah, I quite like the kind of Republic stuff from episode 1, and the romance stuff obviously is a bit touchy in episode 2, but it's like showing a side of Anakin that we don't really, you know, get to see in the rest of Star Wars, and things like that. You know, I can find positives in them all. But, like, when you watch this 4.5 minute recap, look back, summary package that they put together at the start of this before, like, the opening titles, it's like, that is what the story is. That's, like, the main crux, like, the training of the boy, and this is the chosen one, but, like, the chosen one wants more and is greedy and is paranoid about his love dying and converts to the dark side. And it's like, it was just all crammed in from all 3 films beautifully for, like, 4.5 minutes. And it was like, I haven't watched, you know, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, or Revenge of the Sith in preparation for this. I just know them really well. I didn't need to. But, like, watching that recap, I was like, alright, I'm feckin' ready for this, you know? So I love that. I love that intro. I know they do that a lot of times, like these kind of sort of throwback shows and stuff. But yeah, it's really interesting seeing Obi-Wan now and seeing Ewan McGregor kind of trying to find that character again. Seeing all these new characters, and I didn't expect Bail Organa to be there. What's the actor's name again? Oh, it's Jimmy Smits. Yeah, I did see his name in the credits. Jimmy Smits. Yeah, great. He's looking old, but I guess that's the point. It's 10 years later, so it's going to be really interesting to see that aspect. And, like, obviously, if you're watching this, you probably have seen the episode, but the idea is that Leia's been kidnapped because it's like these Jedi hunters want to find Kenobi. You know, he's still out there, and he's had to go and sort of, you know, find his lightsaber and go back on the ship and go back to battle and become Obi-Wan, which is really interesting because it's like this kind of not trainee, but like young Jedi that's asking for his help, who later is kind of sacrificed and ultimately hanged, which I thought was quite violent, although it wasn't a physical hanging. It was kind of just, he was braced up with his arms, but I guess that was meant to be the message. And when he first meets Obi-Wan in the desert, Obi-Wan says, "My name is Ben." And it's like, you never hear Ewan McGregor, you know, referred to as Ben. That's Alec Guinness, you know, so that's just, that was really interesting like that. And the moment where he goes to the desert and he finds his lightsaber and he digs it up, it's kind of metaphorical, isn't it? Because he was like, in symbolic, he's kind of digging up the dirt, digging up the sand, and he finds the lightsaber almost like he himself, Ewan McGregor, is like going back to that character, going back to the lightsaber. He's kind of all like warm and sweaty and grizzled and stuff, and then it's like he's found his lightsaber. It's like, okay, now we're back, kind of in real life as well as the show. I thought that was really interesting, and I reckon that was a bit of a wink as well. Opens the thing, and then there's the 2 lightsabers, both Anakin and Obi-Wan's, and you only see Obi-Wan's at the end when, like, he's about to go on the ship. He kind of rustles his cloak and you see it hanging off his belt. So also the Jawa scene, I thought that was interesting. I don't know how I felt. I actually thought that was going to be bigger than it was, but it was actually just a wee kind of like nod to the kind of originals, but also to show like Obi-Wan is like done with everything like that, and he gets the Jedi belt and he's like, the Jedi are no more. And so there's my Obi-Wan. That was a feckin' better Obi-Wan impression than Ewan McGregor's doing in this feckin' episode. And I'm assuming as the episodes go, he's going to get more into it and stuff. But yeah, Oh, it's so exciting. It's so good watching this and being back to it. You know, just I have such love for all three trilogies for individual reasons, but it's almost like I have this even more of a soft spot for the prequels because I grew up with them and I was a child when they came out. So, yeah, about to have dinner, and as I'm eating, I'm going to be watching episode 2, not Attack of the Clones, part 2 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series. What an exciting time. And I'm trying to think of an Obi-Wan line to kind of do this transition with. And I'll just do one that's completely irrelevant. You have done that yourself. No. This episode was so uncivilized. Okay, we just finished watching the second episode. I don't swear on here ever. Holy shit. It's not as if it's like this big reveal or anything, right? I don't like to be one of those people that's like, oh, did you see that? But yeah, I feel as if like the hype and everything about this series has been built up on Ewan McGregor. It's been built up on, you know, the return of Obi-Wan Kenobi and that kind of like the prequel era. And you kind of forget certain things. I have totally, as I've been saying in this video, I love Star Wars, love the prequels, love this world, love this story, love these characters. But you forget important things. For example, Obi-Wan thinks Anakin is dead. Of course he does. He doesn't know that he escaped or is still alive and was fixed or whatever. He doesn't know that. And then Reva? Is that her name? Yeah, Reva. Moses Ingram. What a name. Inquisitor Reva. So, obviously, again, spoiler alert, she stabs the Grand Inquisitor, who I expected actually to be the top villain in this. I expected that to be a kind of dynamic, you know, kind of awkwardness between the two kind of bad people, and then something come to a head later. I didn't expect her to go completely psycho in the second episode and kill him. I don't know if he's dead, but stab him with a lightsaber. I'm going to assume that. And then she tells him that Lord Vader is waiting for him. That's right, Anakin Skywalker is alive. And Obi-Wan's face. Holy shit. Again, it's not like this big reveal. I guess, it's not to us, but it is a big reveal to the character. And it just slipped my mind that like his brother, his best friend, his partner, you know, is still alive. He's expected him to be dead for 10 years, and he watched him burn in that horrible moment at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Oh my god, what a reveal. I loved it. And I was actually thinking at the end of the episode, there's this nice moment with Obi-Wan with young Leia, and she's very bossy and stuff like that, and I quite like that kind of dynamic because there was always kind of like funny banter between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and that's kind of where the sassiness of Obi-Wan came out, and it was lots of nice comedy moments. There was a couple of those in there, and she kind of struts away. She's like, let's go, come on, and she starts bossing him around, and he stops and he pauses and he says, oh, you remind me of someone, obviously talking about Padme, I'm assuming, and like her mother. And she was a leader, and like it's this big thing. And I thought that was it's the nicest moment, you know, in the episode. That's like a really nice kind of throwback and nice kind of reaction from Ewan. And then, holy smokes, the reveal that Anakin is still alive. To him, that's just a given to us, but to the character, oh, what a moment! That was amazing. And then the zoom in on the face, and he goes, Anakin, and it cuts to Darth Vader in a feckin' tank with the mask on, breathing, and he's not got the helmet or anything on the mask. He's clearly sensed him, and it is Hayden Christensen in the feckin' tank, breathing. Oh my god, what an ending, what a reveal. You know, it's funny with these like new Star Wars things, they're not all the same, but they all have the same kind of vibe, you know? Just a good show, good series. Like the Book of Boba Fett was, people were kind of slating it, saying it took itself too seriously, but the issue was the fans were taking that too seriously in its own right. You know, it's not meant to be this big revolutionary thing in Star Wars history. It's a little series for entertainment purposes, fan service, to appease the Boba Fett fans. You know what I mean? To help follow the story of the Mandalorian. That's what that's for. You know, so, you know, essentially that could be what Obi-Wan Kenobi is. It's fan service. It's to appease us fans. It's to move on the story. Create this wee bridge between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope that we kind of got with Rogue One and Solo. Two films I adore as well. But this is an even closer one, you know, with the actual characters and stuff. So, yeah, it's going to be full of action. I really enjoyed the first two episodes. It's kind of, you know, I was like, it's not what I expected, but I don't know what I was expecting. That's what I said earlier in this video. You know, man, what a reveal! Oh, what a reveal! And what a moment with Ewan McGregor in his face, panicking, breathing heavily, kind of like, he's like, what? I watched him burn, like I watched him die. Oh man, where is it going to go from here? I guess we're going to have to wait till next week. I guess that's why they wanted to post the first 2 episodes on the one day, you know. So, also we got more of Kunal Manjani, or maybe this was his first appearance. I can't remember, but he's just popping up everywhere, isn't he? And he's playing the same character in everything. He's the same guy that he was in Stuba, same character that he was in Eternals. He's really funny. I really like him. Yeah, there's that moment, and then there's Leia just on the run. Everybody finds out Obi-Wan is in the city, is there. That was a very much more kind of what I was after, I think, that second episode than the first one. But belter. Yep, I'm a fan. Can't wait for the next one. I can't wait for you to join me again right here on CM42 TV. And remember, new episodes of the Good Bit podcast drop every single Monday on all your favourite podcasting platforms and in video form right here on CM42 TV.